All right. Welcome back, and hopefully you learned all the proportions and you were able to put them on your final picture. We are going to go back and use the Seth and Jilly faces for this next part, but first give yourself a little bit of review. Go through the warm-up. This is something that we did do in class, so you want to make sure that you have that done. And just see how much you remember from last time. And again, if you have any questions, please come and see me in person or email me and we can chat. In the space for number 4 in this little rectangle here, you do want to have a pre-drawing. This again will show you the difference between what you started with and what you have at the end. So go ahead and complete that activity. And then let's go back to our notes from Seth and Jilly. Okay. So hopefully you completed that. If you need to pause the video, you may pause it, and that's totally fine. We're going to work on Seth's side this time, and we're going to talk about 3 different spaces. The first is your hair, then your ear, and then your face shape. And to do that, we're going to break that down again into smaller pieces. Now, I have a reference with this nice lady here who I found in a magazine, and so I'll be using her and as well as this young woman here to show you those features as well. Now, something that's important here is that I can't in a video individually show each of you how to draw your hair. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where to look and how to look, so that you can look at what you actually look like and make changes using the information you're gaining from this. So the first thing we want to do is start at your hairline, and if we look here, we'll see that over here. You want to pay attention to not just the shape of your hair, but actually the strands of your hair. Where does the hair start growing? Where does it go? Where does it start? Where does it stop? And what shape does it take? So when we're working here with Seth, you want to label this space number 1. This is where I like to start. Now, I'm going to only do one side of the face because, again, we know that our face is symmetrical. So I'm going to work with this one side, and then you know that you also, whatever you do to one side, you would do to the other in terms of seeing what you're seeing. So when we start here, what I want you to notice is that your hair is actually bigger than your face shape. It's not going to be right down the side of your face. In fact, it's actually going to come up off your face, and for some of you it'll go up, for some of you it'll go over. It just depends on what you're actually seeing. So for this, we're going to give Seth this person's hair. What I'm noticing is where it starts, and I'm having it come up and over. But what I also notice is that I don't see that part of her hair coming all the way down to the end. I just see this part going up and over. So I'm going to get those curves in. I'm also going to notice that it doesn't all start from this one place. The hair starts to move over as we go. Now this is what creates that hair shape for us. We're not drawing the outline and just randomly coloring it in. Instead, we're drawing the strands from where they start to where they stop. So you may see some that go back a little bit further that maybe look like they're going straight up, and that's totally normal. That just depends on what you're seeing with your hair. So for this one, I'm just going to be going and I'm going to look at where it starts and where it stops. Her hair continues to kind of curve to the side, and that's what gets the side face shape or hair shape. So you can see it kind of starting to almost grow out of my drawing. Now, as you do this, again, notice that this is not all coming from the same spot. Some of it's going over a little bit more, some of it tucks behind the new hair that we're getting. And this is going to bring us to space 2 that you want to look for on your face. As you're working around here, you may notice that your hair actually comes forward on your face. It's actually part of your forehead, and it'll help you to see the defined aspects of your face shape. So you can actually see that hair coming onto the forehead, and it will give you some of your face shape. And then the hair continues on however you're seeing it. Remember again that your hair is bigger than your face, so you want to make sure that you do make it big. Even though you're thinking right now, oh, that looks like the 1980s. It's definitely not the 1980s. This is what your hair actually looks like. So as you're working down the side, you're going to see that that hair comes over to the side, and then maybe some of it wraps around the ear, some of it goes to the side, some of it goes back. This brings us to space 3, which is going to be your ear shape. Now, in front of your ear, no matter what you look like, unless you shave it off, you are going to have a little bit of hair. Some people call it a sideburn, some people have it longer, some people have it shorter. It really just depends on what you look like, but you are going to have some hair there around the ear. So we'll get a little bit more hair here. But then I'm going to switch pictures so we can start to talk about your ear shape. Can we zoom in a little bit? Awesome. So with your ear shape, a big mistake that people make is that they tend to make these giant ears, like you are an elephant. And your ear isn't really that big, and it also doesn't have that generic shape. There are actually a couple things I want you to notice about your ear. The first, and we'll call this space 1, is your cartilage. You'll notice that at the top of your ear, it actually has a fold to it. It's not just going to be that outside line. So you want to get almost a double, not almost, you actually do want to have a double line for your ear. Now, as it comes down, you're going to get to what we're going to call space 2, which is your earlobe. Now, there are lots of different earlobes. You have to look at yours. Does yours connect right at the bottom? Does yours come down a little bit and connect almost like a corner? Is yours very wide? These are all things that you have to ask yourself. So I can point out to you that we have this space, but you want to look for what yours actually looks like. And then finally, we have space 3. Now within space 3, you're going to see the inner ear. So you're going to see maybe a little bit of that bump that's on the side of your face. You're also going to see a little bit of this almost kind of Y shape. All of these lines that are part of your inner ear actually help you to hear. So if you didn't have them, you wouldn't be able to funnel in sound. So that's really important. Now, when you do this, don't turn your head to the side, because if you do turn your head to the side, you're going to see the side view, which won't make sense for the front view of your face. So you want to make sure you're looking for space 1, space 2, and space 3. Not exactly what I've drawn, but what you're actually seeing. Now we've got 2 more spaces on the face. Space 4 is going to be your jawline. And again, you have to look for what you actually look like. For some of us, we have just a straight line coming down from the ear, and then it's very much like a corner that goes over. For some people, it's much more round than that, so you wouldn't have that much of a corner. For some people, it's kind of somewhere in between. So for her, in this magazine page, it is very round. It just comes out and goes around. For this girl in the picture, it actually kind of comes out a little bit first before it goes over. So space 4 is definitely going to have some sort of curve for you, but you want to look and see what yours looks like. So you know it's there. What is yours actually going to be? Now space 5 is the last part of our face shape, and that's going to be your chin. And again, there's all kinds of chins. You may have a very pointed chin, or you may have a sort of squarish chin. You may have just a very round chin that comes off the end of your jaw. You could have a very large chin, like maybe Jay Leno. It's really up to what you look like. So again, I've drawn you this picture. You want to look at maybe how the hair defines the side of your face as well. But as you're looking at this, look at not what this general picture is, but what you actually look like. So start yourself off at space 1. And in space 1, look at what you're seeing. And do that on both sides of your face, not just the one. Do the same thing around space 2, remembering that space 2 will have hair coming into your face. Space 3 then, for your ear, has some hair in front and behind. And then if you look at your ear, you've got the cartilage, the lobe, and the inner ear, coming down to your jawline, and then your chin. So what I'd like you to do now that you have these notes, is again flip back to, my alarm is going off, flip back to your front picture where we started drawing Seth, and I'd like you to start with space 1 and move around the face. This time changing Seth on the front cover to not just be this generic hair, but actually to be your hair, your face shape, your ears. Take some time to go ahead and do that. Remember, you're looking for you and not that generic person. If something doesn't look right, change it. Next time we're going to go over the eyes, followed by the nose, the mouth, and the ear, and the value. But for right now, give yourself a start with this.